Hey guys, Dylan from Noble Records coming at you with a heavy rotation video. I already shot this one like twice today and couldn't get it right. I mean, I'm not even like particular about my heavy rotation videos, but I was watching the kids today. My wife was out and they like my son Cannon kept coming in here and interrupting me, and like he was just like he would be standing right here and like talking to me like, hey dad. I'm like, son, I'm trying to shoot this video. So I was like, screw it, I'll do it when they go to bed. So anyways, I got some really cool records to show you guys this week. Got a lot of man, I got a lot of stuff going on, but that's normal for me. But one thing is this Andromeda record. We did an exclusive of this, and there are still like maybe 60 copies. Okay, we did 500 limited edition Noble Records exclusive on like I believe it's like a yellow, can't remember, but they're still available on our website. The link is below. I'm not trying to sell y'all or anything like that, but there are 60 left, and as soon as they sell out, everyone's like, I didn't know. And so just wanted to let y'all know they will sell out, so I'm not worried about it, but I just thought I would let y'all know. Big grail that I got this week is this Atomic Forest Obsession 77. As far as Discogs is concerned, this is my #1 most valuable record in my collection right now, I believe. Fraction Moonblood, I can't remember what it's at, but anyways, that's just the Discogs median. With rare records, the Discogs median almost doesn't ever matter, but this is one of those records that just never comes up for sale. And a friend of mine posted it on Instagram and said he was trying to sell it and wanted to sell it to a friend. And so I kind of jokingly was like, well, how much you want for it? And it was a lot, and I was like, man, that's a killer record. And I listened to it and we kind of negotiated a little bit, and we got it to where I was comfortable with it. The problem is, like, one hadn't sold for like years and years and years and years. And so and even then, like, the one that sold, I don't think it was in as good a shape as this one is so freaking clean, incredibly clean. There can't be many of these this clean on earth. And so I agreed to the price and everything, and then like a week later, one popped up on Discogs and sold for considerably more. So I was like, it made me feel a little bit better. But anyway, so if you see the one that sold on Discogs, that wasn't this copy. That wasn't me. This one was off the books. So like I said, a lot of like really really rare records like this, they exchange hands privately, and the people kind of that are in the community kind of know what they'll go for. It's just kind of one of those, where are you gonna find another one? But enough about that. This is an outstanding, out of this world, psychedelic, hard rock, funk type. It's more psych rock than anything. It was the only psychedelic album that India ever put out. It came out in 1981, even though it's called Obsession 77. But man, these guys can, I mean, my lord. The fuzz guitar solos are ridiculous and out of this world and just way over the top. There's like synth solos that are amazing. They do a cover of Locomotive Breath that's insane, way better than the original. They do a cover of I Saw Her Standing There, and it is got like the craziest guitar and synth solos in it. It's got a cover of Jesus's Is All Right, by the Doobies. But man, there's just amazing stuff on here. So love this record. Thrilled to get it. It'll go up on the holy moly wall over here in the house. So that's killer. So good to talk about this, which this is, not to get like you're my therapy session or anything like that, but in my old age, things have changed in my life a lot, and I've been having like some serious anxiety lately, which is really out of character for me. Like, usually I never have any sort of stress or anxiety. Well, I have a lot of stress always, but no anxiety really. I've never had a panic attack or anything like that, But I've got a lot going on right now, like just all good stuff, nothing bad. But like since we started the label, I'm kind of passing off a lot of the responsibilities to the shop to the guy that started working there, Logan, and he's doing a great job. I like literally thank God every day that Logan is with us, because he's just the best. But it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on with the label. Like, I'm learning all this stuff. I've never done this before. It's one of those things, like, I've always wanted to do it, and I'm just kind of jumping out and hoping I can figure it all out, you know. And so far I am, and I've got a lot of really good people helping me and everything. I know in my head everything's going to be fine. But some days I got so much going on, and I feel like I never can get enough done or whatever, and I just get really anxious. And so for me, you know, trying to figure out how to remedy that, what I've realized that works really well is if I wake up early in the morning, I go run. I try to run every day. I try to run a 5K every day, or maybe more if I can, and it really clears my head. I feel really good after that. And then also to try, like, a couple times a week, to break off some time to do something I really enjoy, like, you know, listening to records in my room over here is a really great thing, but like also going out digging. I realized that in the past year or so, I've not been, like, really since COVID, I haven't gone out digging a whole lot. I have some, but just not as much as I would really like. And so the other day I was like, so a lot of this stuff I found out in the wild, out digging, which is great. But the other day I was at the shop, and it was kind of getting stressful. Like, if it's a Friday or Saturday, there's a lot of customers in. They all want to talk, which is great. That's one of my favorite parts of life, is talking to customers. But and then also, like, we've got a lot of stuff coming in. We got just a lot of stuff going on. Then I'm on the phone talking to all these different people about, like, signing licenses and record deals and stuff like that. So I've got, like, a ton going on, and I felt like I was gonna have a panic attack. I was, like, so stressed. And somebody called and was like, hey, I got a collection. I can't bring it. It's too many records to bring, but if you want to come look at it, you can. And it was like 15 minutes away. So I was like, yeah, sure. Jumped in the car, drove out there, had like a DJ collection. I hate DJ collections most of the time just because there are a lot of 12 inches and they're all usually in really bad shape. This DJ collection was 12 inches, but they were all in pretty good shape. And then so this guy said that, like, probably 3/4 of it was this DJ collection. There's a few full albums, but mostly they were 12-inch singles. And then there was like a couple boxes of stuff that came from his mom. That was his mom's collection. So I went and started looking through everything. The DJ stuff was like whatever. I really didn't want it, but his mom's records were pretty good. There's, you know, Prince, Michael Jackson, you know, Isaac Hayes, stuff like that. That's pretty good sellable stuff. But then this one popped out at me. This is Damn Sam, the Miracle Man, and the Soul Congregation. This is amazing. I picked this up. I've never seen it before in my life. And the cover is an absolute no-brainer. That's going to be good. You know, it's just one of those covers going to be good. If you look at the label's this, like, white private press label. And it says it's from Detroit. So you know this is going to be some Detroit funk. It's going to be awesome. I try not to look things up in front of people. But while we were looking at the collection, somebody rang the doorbell, and I kind of looked it up on Discogs and saw it had some strong numbers, and I was like, great. So really, I didn't want to buy the collection, but this record probably pushed me over the edge to buy it because it was kind of an all or nothing deal. So I bought everything, and, you know, whatever. A lot of singles will end up going in the dollar bin or whatever. But this one, you know, is just out of this world. And, like, the whole time I was driving back, I was listening to it because it has, like, YouTube clips, and I think it actually might be up on streaming. But anyways, and I was like, man, this is so killer. And then I get home, throw it on the turntable, and it just makes me feel so good that I found it out in the wild, just sitting there. It had been, you know, nobody knew what it was. It's just, that's such a cool feeling when you're able to go and dig something out. And, you know, sure, you know, people bring stuff in the shop sometimes. It's really rare, but they always, you know, it's never the type of thing to where you dig it out and no one knew about it. Like, when people bring in the stuff that's really rare in the shop, and it's not even, like, really about getting it cheap. It's about finding a diamond in the rough, you know. It's just cool. So anyways, that was really cool, and I was like, man, that feels good. And so I'm trying to spend more time going out and digging. We were up in Greensboro. Yeah. And we went to Hippo Records, which I haven't been to in a really long time, like a couple years, 3 years maybe. Shoot, I think it was actually before COVID, so it was a while ago. But they always have some cool stuff, really good shop. They actually opened up they bought out another record store. And so they now have 2 shops. But anyways, this is one that was on the wall. This is Tony Aiken in Future 2000. This is another one I didn't know what it was, and they originally just came in a blank sleeve. And it is just like some really, really good, like Afrobeat funk stuff. It's really good. It's not. It's the label says from New York. Like I said, I didn't know anything about this, but it looks so cool. I was like, I'm gonna get that, and I've really been enjoying this. Very, very great listen. But there was a little record on the back wall I was kind of debating on, and I ended up pulling the trigger because that's that's my MO. This is a Tom Petty and the Wildflowers. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, or just not, no, this is not Tom Petty. Scrap that. Tom Petty, Wildflowers. Just so used to saying Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So this is Tom Petty, Wildflowers. Amazing record. It's one of my favorite albums that he ever did. I have the reissue. The reissue sounds better, obviously, but when I first opened the shop, one of these came in, and I was like obsessed with it. I loved it. I listened to it, and we had a couple really hard months, like trying to make it through COVID and all stuff. And somebody actually was kind of on my back wanting to buy it. And I was like, I really don't want to sell it. I really don't want to sell it. And then I got to the point where I really kind of needed to. And they offered me $500 for it. And I was like, yes, that's great. That was before the reissue. And I don't really know if it's gone up or down. But anyways, this was on the wall near mint in the shrink for $250. And I was like, I'm getting that. Amazing record. I wanted to have the original. But when I opened the shop, and like was trying to get through the first year, I sold a bunch of stuff, and then now there's a couple key pieces that I really want to get back. One of them actually just got one that's getting mailed to me, like one of the main ones. I would like to get Led Zeppelin 2 White Label Promo. I had one, sold it. Would like to get a what's the other one? Temple of the Dog. Original US Temple of the Dog. I used to have one of those. But anyways, there's a few that are like big wants for me that I used to have. But anyways, just like a really handful. So anyways, then we went to another little shop, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's just a little kind of a low-key little joint, and I never heard of it before, and I just kind of was passing by, and it looked like it was a record store. They had some records, and so I pulled in and walked in. It was really unassuming. It didn't even really look too good from the outside. I was like, oh, I'll jump in and see. When I walked in, it was just kind of like really old school in there. Tons of records everywhere. I looked up on the walls, and the records that were on the walls were all like maybe $5 records. They weren't expensive, and I was like, okay, this is not going to be very good. So I started looking through, and there was like a couple crates that were like, they said like rare, collectible, something like that. And I was like, I'll look at these or whatever. The first one I pull out is Miles Davis Kinda Blue. It was the first press, and it was a pretty good price. And I was like, Go through, like, second one I see is Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. It's the third pressing, but still on other records. And I was like, It was like $550, which is too much for that pressing. But so I was going through, and I was seeing some like really killer stuff, and some stuff I really wanted. But the prices were a little on the high side, and I literally never do this. Like when I went to Hippo, I did not ask for a discount. I paid the price just because I like to support other record stores and all that stuff. But this one, I was just like, and the person there was like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And I was like really respectful. I was like, listen, I don't, if not, no big deal, but I probably would buy more knowing, and I just want to know, do you got any wiggle room on this stuff if I'm paying cash, And they were like, yeah, we'll work something out. Because if I get any hesitation, I'll back up. I'm like, no, because I really don't like when people come in the shop and they kind of nickel and dime me and try to talk me down on stuff. And it's like, dude, it's a small business. You don't try to talk people down at Walmart, and that's a huge corporation. Like, why are you gonna come into a small business and try to talk me down? Because my prices are pretty fair, I think. But anyways, so just because of that, I never do it. But I was thinking about dropping a lot of money in, and I was just kind of trying to figure out, was better ask than not ask. So anyways, all I had to say, I bought some. They cut me some slack. Ended up being worth it and really good. So the first one that I pulled out that I wanted to buy was this Betty Davis. This is self-titled, and this is the cleanest copy that I've ever seen. The only flaw is this corner cut right here, which I'm fine with. I had a copy that was in the shrink, but it had some like shelf wear. It was no big. The copy I had, I was really, really happy with. But this one's a little bit cleaner. and a really good friend of mine is a regular customer that comes in and brings me great stuff. And it's to the point to where he comes in almost every day, and we're actually like good friends at this point. Beyond him being a customer or whatever, we're buddies at this point. And we talk all the time. And he, the other day, like a week ago, he was like, "Hey, if you ever see that Betty Davis record, I need it. I need one." So I saw it and I was like, I'm gonna get it for him. So anyways, I bought this and I sold him my other copy because this was a little bit cleaner. But tremendous record that you just never see in this condition. I mean, the vinyl is near mint. It's beautiful. So that's kind of one of those. I could not buy it. This is one I didn't know what it was, but it looks so awesome. I just bought it. This is called A Different Drummer. Ronnie Harrison, Family Love. Ronnie is spelled R-A-H-N-I. This is a really good like gospel funk, like boogie funk type thing. Some really good funk numbers on here. Like I said, I never heard of this, but it looks really, really good. I kind of looked it up to see what it would be like and kind of guessed, and I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Another one, this is one I've been wanting for a terribly long time, probably 10 years. This is Nightcrawlers, Little Black Egg. This is a mono white label promo. I've not had a copy of this in any form, and I've been looking for one forever. I remember before I had a YouTube channel, I was kind of asking around, like, you got this record, you got this record. And I kind of gave up. I was like, I'll see one in the wild at some point, and I'll get it. This one is another one. I probably wouldn't have bought it at the price they had it at, but because they helped me out a little bit, it made it worth it. To get really clean copy, other than like just some radio station stamps and stuff on there. But it's kind of like a garage. They call it psych, but it's really more of a garage record, but it's still really killer. And this is the last one. I got, this is a Led Zeppelin Destroyer. I already had one, but this is, I like, you know, I've had a bunch throughout the years, but this is the black box. And I really like the black box a little bit better than the white box. The white box, it kind of bows out a little bit, some like the way it's like the top cover is not big enough. And so it doesn't really fit on well. I'm particular about Zeppelin stuff, but this is the crispiest, cleanest copy I have ever seen. Corners are great. It's just a super, super nice, clean copy. And so if you don't know about this particular one, so there's like 4 or 5 different Zeppelin Destroyer box sets. And it's all kind of based around the Cleveland 77 show. So this is recorded April 28th, 1977. This is a audience recording, but it's a really, really good audience recording. It's a fantastic show. So it's a great one to definitely get. There's another one. It's the DRGM press, and it is it's the soundboard recording from the night before, I believe. And then there's a Destroyer 3, which is like a month later in a different city, but they still say it's Cleveland. It's not Cleveland, it's somewhere else though. Anyways, so there's a bunch of different versions, whatever. But that's you're going to get to the Zeppelin nerd zone there, which you probably don't have any business being in or want to be in. A friend of mine that has a record store in Asheville called Earth River Records had these, and I've been talking back and forth with him for like 6 months trying to negotiate with him about. And again, I just said I don't negotiate, but he had these, and I think, you know, he had some high hopes for them because the online numbers are strong. They're very expensive records, but it's just kind of one of those things a lot of people don't really know about it. And they're cool records. But anyways, but we ended up coming to a deal on them, and he shipped them to me a couple weeks ago. This is it's a band called Charmer. This is Your Presence Requested. This is a fantastic like really raw hard rock record. It's a long story. So it's on a tax scam label. It came out in 1977. So if you don't know about tax scam labels, in 1977 all these little labels were popping up, and they would basically steal records from people. Like like for instance, this record, there's a guy that wrote most of the songs and stuff, and he was in Cactus and a couple other bands I can't remember. And he wrote all the songs on this record, and then whoever owned this label pretty much stole the record and used it without his permission. Anyways, so but the tax scam side comes into where they'll put in recording costs, all that stuff, And then when they get the record pressed, let's say they press 1,000 of them, they take 900 of them and dump them in the ocean or whatever. And they say, well, we only made money on 100 of them or whatever, on 10%. So they get a tax write-off. So at the end of the year, they end up going bankrupt or whatever, shutting the label down and getting the tax write-off, something like that, you know, to cover their loss, because they claim it as a loss. So anyways, the whole point of the tax game label was to lose money so they could get the tax credit back for the loss. And all, like, most of the tax game labels are 1977 for some reason. There's another one, the Guinness one, that was one of my favorites. Has that Formula One record on it, Bloodsucker, a New Bond 2. It's got a bunch of really good stuff on there, but there's probably a dozen or more that I could, know that there's some really, but a lot of them have really good records on them. This is a fantastic record. But like a couple of the songs are from a band called Steel. They put out a record in 1971 on the Epic label called Steel, and it's like a picture of a bolt. So a couple of those songs from that, this came out in like 70, like I said, 77. So anyways, there's a lot of shady stuff going on, but regardless, this is a bunch of tapes that was never meant to be released, but just a bunch of guys jamming, and it's like killer hard rock. The band is called Charmer. That's a really good one. And this one's called Do It To It. It's a follow-up record, same year, obviously. And the really generic covers, all that stuff. That's the MO for tax game labels. The legality behind these are like really shaky. Who knows? There's a lot of illegal stuff going on, but it's not illegal for me to have them. They're very collectible and like really rare. These particular ones are those two Charmer records, but especially the first one, Your Presence Request, is like it's a grail. It's a really killer one. Anyways, so we got this one. This is Terry Brooks and Strange, Raw Power. This was sealed and is fantastic. Terry Brooks and Strange. Terry Brooks was like, he's still living. He's an incredible guitar player, really crazy, psychedelic, out of this world acid fuzz guitar. This one especially is really abstract fuzz guitar from space. It's unreal. But this is a crazy one. I've been wanting it for a long time. A sealed copy popped up and I grabbed it. It was a decent price. And so happy to get this one. I've been kind of getting burned on sealed records lately. I got this one and then two others, and they've all been warped, which is pretty common. And thankfully I've got a flattener, so I've been able to flatten them. But anyways, it's just like, I would rather buy a near mint open record than a sealed record, because a sealed records you just really don't know. But this is a fantastic one. Terry Brooks also has another really killer record called Translucent World that is really worth a listen. That's my favorite one of his. Whew, I just hit a brick wall. I'm tired, guys. It's like midnight. Easy does it. First U.S. press in the shrink. The disc is near mint, beautiful. How did I come across this? Well, someone brought a bunch of records in the store. So it was a different DJ collection, and this stuff had gotten like terrible water damage. It was it was mold and nasty. It was probably really not healthy for me to even be looking through them. But some of them were like, some of the crates like were all fused together. Like every record was a big brick of molded, fused, water damaged records all together. And when you see that, I'm always like, I don't want to look through those, because even whatever you get's going to be damaged, so whatever. And then you got to dig through those. But the curiosity got the better of me, and I started going through it. And I would pull this brick of records up, and I peel them open, and right in the middle, just like a pearl in the middle of a oyster or whatever, is this Easy Does It. And it's still in the shrink, so it was good. And then nothing was water damaged or anything. You can see a little bit of a wave like right there and some little bit of a water discoloration, but the disc is near mint. It's in the shrink. It's a beautiful copy. I don't keep a lot of hip hop, but the old school classic stuff like this, if it's in good shape, I always grab it. That's a killer record. A bunch of people wanted to buy it off me, and I said no. The new Witch record. This is the Vinyl Me Please pressing of the new Witch record called Xango. It's on this like pretty awesome green marbled. This is an incredible record. I was like, man, I hope this record's good, because a lot of times when people had good records in the 70s or even 80s, and they get older. The band gets older, loses some steam. They put out a record and it blows. You're like, dang it, you shouldn't have done that. So I was hoping that this one was good. And let me tell you, it is fantastic. I was so pleasantly surprised. But, you know, you got fantastic players, you know, which has some amazing players, some young guys that are really killing it. And you know, the old guys, they still got it, you know. And this record is really, really worth checking out. I was hesitant at first. I was like, man, I really hope it's good. I'm gonna buy it either way because it's Witch, but amazing. Sleeping at Last, talk about them all the time. They had a sale on their website, and I picked up a couple records. This record changed my life more than any other record ever. This is called Many Beautiful Things. This is a motion picture soundtrack. I've never seen the movie, but I've told the story a million times. I really don't need to tell it again. But my son is 9 years old. He has autism, but when he was about 4 or 5, like from the time he was like 4 or 5, but like from birth to 4 or 5, he was not sleeping well at all. It was, we could not get him to sleep well. And one night I had like just heard Sleeping at Last, and it was like the most soothing ambient music, but the keys were really soothing. There's something really special about it. And one night I was in his room and I was like, I'm turning this music on. Like I mainly just wanted to hear it. I felt like it calmed me down. You know, I was like, so I was upset. He was upset. And I turned it on and it was like, he was out. And I was like, dang, this works. And so like a lot of they have an album. It was like it's a collection of songs called Atlas Year One. And that's what I used to play for him. But there's words and there's singing in it, which is, the singing's amazing. It's great. I love it. But the singing kind of, it helps him out instrumental, like it soothes him more than, well, the singing's fine. It didn't hurt much, but this record is like a lot of songs from Atlas Year One, but without the words. It's totally instrumental. So it was like perfect. And it really soothed him. And so I'd put it on. I didn't have it on vinyl. I streamed it. And we put some like speakers in his room, and we would like, every night I go in there, turn it on, and he would, like, even if he was crying or was upset, I could just feel him go, and it just like soothed him. And it was like, so the name Sleeping at Last was just so appropriate. But this is a fantastic record. It's got all the instrumental, and it's just really, really calming, soothing. And then this is another compilation called Space. They did a bunch of songs, like Saturn's definitely their most popular song. Saturn is one of the most incredible songs I've ever heard in my life. But Ryan O'Neill's the guy who does it, but his project name is Sleeping at Last. But it's got like on like this really killer vinyl. But anyways, they had a sale on their website, and those were 2 records that I didn't have. I've got a bunch of their records, but I didn't have those, so I grabbed them. And then Now Again just put out this Del Jones Positive Vibes, and Chord is Closed. So I have an original of this Positive Vibes, and it's amazing, like Afrobeat funk. I got my copy. Like, it's a crazy story. When I first opened the shop, like, it was raining really bad one night, and this guy brought in a tub of records, and he was like, how much are you giving for these? I was like, let me look at them. He's like, no, you can't look at them. You just got to tell me how much. And I was like, what? And so I just kind of started flipping through them. He's like, I'm not sitting here and letting you just flip through them. And he was like so impatient and so weird. I was like, all right, well, based off what I'm seeing, I saw like one Miles Davis record in there. So I was like, I'll give you like $20 if you're just going to let me look at those 2. And he's like, fine. And I gave him $20 and he left. And so like I could tell a lot of stuff was in bad shape. And even the Miles Davis record I saw wasn't in great shape. I was like, there's got to be some other stuff in there. But like, I'm not buying what I can't see. And he was like so impatient. So I was like, whatever. And this record was in there, an original of this, which is like a $600 record. So that's amazing. But Chord is Closed is, I believe it's the same exact songs. It's just psychedelic. So this is one, those are worth like $2,000. I would love to have one of those, but odds of me finding one are super slim. And then, so that's a great one. And then last but not least, Vinyl Me Please did a 20th anniversary of Transatlanticism by get Death Cab for Cutie. It comes on this like really killer red, like there's a little bit of a black in there as well. Man, I love this record. When this came out, I listened to it like crazy. It's really nostalgic for me. Start to finish, it is an absolute to me, absolutely essential. I love it. I have an original press, and it sounds good, but this blows it out of the water. It sounds amazing. If you're on the fence about getting this, you need to get it. If you like the record, it sounds really good. So we just listened to it as a whole. Our whole family came in here and listened to it. It was just so great. But I've been working on the room, trying to get it right, trying to get it better, because I want to do a room tour very soon. So I've been in this room for a year. I'm still trying to get it right. So anyways, we'll get there. But thank y'all for watching. Stay tuned. We dug in a crazy storage unit yesterday. We bought like 4,000 records out of a storage unit. I'm going to do a video on that very soon. And then stay tuned also, news about the label. We're doing a lot of really cool stuff. I've already signed 3 really killer contracts for 3 amazing records that we're going to put out. And so those are already signed contracts. We're just like going through the process of the mastering and plating and all that stuff. So we're going to be putting stuff up on streaming, all that stuff. So really excited about that. So thank y'all for always being around and for showing your support. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you guys next time.